Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and today we are going to show you how to put titles and captions into your Premiere Pro videos for peanut butter and jelly. So the first thing that you're going to do is if all of your clips are at the beginning of your timeline, what you'll need to do is you'll need to push all of this over. So the way to do that is to use this tool called the Track Selection Forward tool, and you click on it. Once you click on it, you come over here to the beginning clip and you select it and you just push it. You can push it as far as you like to, because what we're going to do is we can just ripple delete any extra space that we have once we're finished. Then once you've done that, click in go back and grab your selection tool and just click in the black area so that you're no longer highlighted to move anything. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over in this area right here, and I'm going to grab my type tool, okay? And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to, let me back up a step. Sorry, guys. We need to use this wonderful thing called safe margins. And how to get your safe margins is you press the plus sign, and then you click on this box right here. If it's up in the buttons editor, and it's not in your menu, then you grab and you drag it down here, okay? And then once you do that, you press OK, because you want to have that in your menu here. So I'm going to click on my safe margins, and now that I have clicked it on, okay, I'm going to go over there and grab my type tool, and I'm going to click in the center of my item, and I'm going to just write peanut butter, and I'm going to use my and jelly, peanut butter and jelly. Okay, you can write sandwich, you can call it PB&J, call it whatever you want to call it, right? Now I'm going to switch to my graphics menu, because if you're in graphics, it will give you a lot more choices over here when you click on your graphic. Well, Ms. Dobbenmeyer, I'm not seeing the choices. That's okay. Let me show you how to find them. There's a browse and there's an edit, and you're going to click on the edit. Once you click on the edit, you're going to have all of these options available to you. Wow, Ms. Dobbenmeyer, what are all those options? Okay, well, let me show you. Over here, we have have free transform, and you can align it to the top, you can align it to the center, you can align it to the bottom, however you want to. And you'll see it says align top, align vertically, align bottom, and then you have align to the left, or you have line to the center, or you have a line to the right. Okay, these are your alignments, and these are your items that you can use. You can also use these too, okay? You can also use these little things and move them just so precisely. This one goes left and right, and then this one goes up and down, okay? You can turn it just ever so slightly if you wanted to, or not, okay? That's rotating your images. This one just makes it bigger right where it's at, okay? This one here makes it transparent where it's maybe see-through. Maybe you want it to be very faint peanut butter and jelly and not so bold. Another thing that you can do is you can change the font. Now, once we get down into the text here, it's really important that you double click or highlight all of that area that you want to change. Because if you don't highlight it, then it's going to think that you're going to write more text, and it's going to change the future text, but keep this text this way. So you have to highlight to say, hey, I want to change this stuff right here. And you highlight it by dragging across it, or sometimes if you just double click it, it'll highlight the whole thing. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to choose a font to use. Let's go for, you can see that there's a lot of fonts to use, right? Lots and lots of fonts. So I'm going to use this one, the Chalk Dust. No, I don't want Chalk Dust. I'm going to use Comic Sans. I like Comic Sans. It's going to make it look a little childlike, or maybe just easy going. So now we are going to go to how you can change the font size if you want it bigger or smaller. Okay. You can also change if you want it to be bold or not bold or italicized. Now here's where it really gets kind of fun. You can change right here the spacing between your letters. So like you can bring your letters all really close together, or you can make them spread way apart. Okay. And that's what you call, what is it called? It's called tracking. That's right. It's called tracking. So this is tracking. And that, might be something that you need to know for that certification exam. So make sure that you know that that's called tracking. Over here, this is like if you have a spacing between them. So let's just put a space in between them so you can see the difference. Okay. If I had spacing, this is, it'll basically say how far away do you want these two lines of work. Okay. Keep that right there, and I'll space this in. All right, so let's go ahead and center that again, center it again, so it's nice and center because it is our title. And now I'm going to highlight it again, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change the fill color. That's the inside color of the letter. So if I click on the fill, it opens up this color picker, and I am going to make the inside color like grape jelly. I want it to be like grape jelly. So grape jelly is kind of a darker color. So there we go, like a purple. So I'm going to press OK. And now all of that's going to be purple. The stroke is the outside color, and I want that to be the color of peanut butter. So I'm going to kind of come up here and find a kind of brownish color. Oh, there we go. I think that's going to be, there is peanut butter color, I think. And that's going to be my peanut butter color. Now your stroke you can change by making it larger. So I'm going to bring that stroke really, really big. Okay. If you want to, you can put a background color. So that means like where this gray box is, that's all going to be a color if I choose to make a color. So I can put like, let's think, a white background there. And then I can even make it transparent, like very light. Or I can make it very bold, if you want a background color. All right, if you don't, you can just take it off, or you can make your background color as bigger or smaller by using these options here. I'm just going to take the background color away. The next thing you can do is you can apply a shadow to make it look a little three-dimensional. I'm going to change the color of the shadow, and we're going to make that color white. I'm going to make it white. Say OK. Kind of makes it, see how it gives it an edge, a three-dimensional edge. Now you can make this really sharp, or you can make it like, kind of like it's not so much there. This is your opacity. And then you can choose what angle the background is coming from, or the shade. And then you can take the shade further away or all the way close, whatever you think looks good. And then you can blur it some, or you can not blur it at all. And then you can choose like if you want it to be like feathered, or you don't want it to be feathered. Okay. I'm going to change the leading, and I'm going to bring that peanut butter and jelly up together a little less than that, Doppelmayr, like maybe like that, where they're kind of really close together. And I'm going to click over here using my selection tool to see what it looks like. Peanut butter jelly. Not bad, not bad. Okay. So that's how you make a graphic. So now we've got all this space. We want to get rid of the space. You can make your graphic really long or short by trimming it up, and then you can right click and ripple delete, and then you can see that's going to be how it starts out. Now, let's get a little fancy. Maybe you want your title to fade in and not just be boom, okay? So this is how you make something fade in. First, you have to click on the graphic, and then we come over here to our effects control, and you move your cursor to where you can see your graphic, and then you're going to come over to where it says opacity, right down here, opacity. And you're going to make this say 0. And then you're going to press the little stop sign, but you make sure you're at the beginning of your clip and you're going to press the little stop sign. And it's going to give you a little, what we call a diamond. Then you're going to move this, say, about a second, and you're going to scrub back over those numbers and make it 100%. So it goes like this. It goes 0 to 100. Now at the end, if you want it to fade out, you're going to go almost to the end of the clip, right? And you're going to put another dot because you want it to stay 100% all this time, but at the end you want it to fade out. So then you got to go like that, and you're going to have to press 0. So now let's see what it looks like. I think, okay guys, here we go again. Sorry about that interruption. All right, so what we're going to do here is I think that this is a little long. So how can I trim that? Well, I can move these over like this, okay, so that they're out of the way, and I can move this down some. I think I just moved it a little too much. Put our cursor where it ends. And then we'll know to bring that back to the cursor. And then we can just ripple delete. Now let's see how long it is. Not bad. Now, another really fun thing you can do. Maybe you're like, Miss Staubenmeyer, I think the fade in's kind of cool, but you know, I'd like to make it do something a little fancier than that. We can do that. That's okay. I got fancy. You want fancy? Here we go. Maybe you want to have it slide in from the left, right? How do we do that? Well, we bring it back to the beginning, okay? Let's just be able to see it here for a second. And then we're going to use its position and slide it all the way off, okay? So it's off, and then we're going to move our little cursor back, and we're going to add the position there, boom. And then by the time that it fades in right here, we want it to be center. So we're going to use our little position tool and bring it back center, just like that. So now what's going to happen is it's going to slide in, fade and slide in at the same time. Now, of course, at the end, we want it to slide back out. And you can choose which direction you want it to slide. Maybe you want it to slide to the right because it came from the left, or maybe you want it to go back to the left, or maybe you want it to drop straight down. So let's talk about how to do that. So I'm going to move to the ending portion. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it, we're going to make it slide to the right. So I'm going to take this and slide it just like that, okay? And then I'm going to move this little dot all the way to the end there. So let's see what that looks like. All right, another really cool thing you can do, maybe you don't want it to slide in, maybe you want it to drop in. Oh, that's right, I can't see it, duh. So we're gonna move it back to center. And I'm gonna take away that little thing right there. Okay, and so now it's still centered, but we want it to drop in. So we're going to move it to this top like that. And now it's going to not be there. And now we want it to drop in right here. So now we're going to, boom, drop it in. If you want it to bounce, you can do that too. How do you make it bounce? You bring it in right there. Okay. And then you bring it back up a little bit. And then you bring it back down a little bit. You bring it back up a little bit. And you bring it back down a little bit. And there you go. So now let's see what it does. Okay, and then you can make it drop out. Put a little dot there, and we're going to just boom, bring it all the way down. So now it's going to come in, bounce, hang out for a second, and fall. Okay. You can make these things go faster by putting them together like this. So it can fall faster. It just depends upon really what you want to do. That's pretty cool, Ms. Dobmeyer. I like that. Me too. Now let's talk about another motion that you can do. You mean there's more things that we can do? Yes, there are. There are more things you can do. So maybe you want this to start as really small and kind of come zooming at you, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start it, we're going to use scale. And we're going to start it at maybe, say, 50%. And I'm going to press the little scale button, boom. And then as it comes in, I'm going to have it go to 100%. And then as it goes to the end, right here, we're going to have it get larger and 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 larger, like right there, okay? Maybe we'll do that all the way out. So let's see how it goes. So it fades in, comes flying at you, right? Flying at you. And then fades out. Well, Ms. Dobmeyer, that's pretty cool too. Is there anything else you can do? Yes, there is more. So let's take that off, the flying at you thing. All right, and we're going to have it back at 100%. We're going to move that back to the beginning, 100%. And now we're going to talk about rotation right here. We're going to spin it. So if you want it to spin 3 times, you can have it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, however many times you want to spin it. And then you just press the little keyframe. So we're going to bring that to right there. And now it's going to spin in. Okay, maybe not. I know what I did, guys. I do. Let me tell you. I forgot at the beginning to not have it spin. Put 0. So now it spins. There you go. It's spun 7 times all the way in. Now you can stretch that out to make it a slower spin. You know, whatever you want it to do. You can have it fade in and fade out as it spins in. You can have it spinning in from the left, spinning in from the right. You can use all of these things together, however you want to. It's completely up to you, okay? but that's what you can do. Those are just some of your options. We've talked about position, scale, rotation, and we've also talked about opacity. And you can use all of those tools with any video and any graphic that you have. So that's all that we're going to talk about today, talking about titles, and you can apply captions to each one of your steps here. Okay, and if you wanted your title to be right in the beginning on your peanut butter, you can do that too. You can just drop your graphic right in the beginning and make sure it's only the length of your peanut butter. So it would be just like that instead of. But that's completely on you. All right. Good luck and happy graphics. Bye-bye.